Hey there, thanks for tuning in. This is the Tammy Tine Design YouTube channel. I'm Tammy, and today I have a stack of layouts to share with you. These are some of the layouts I've completed since the end of November, and there are less than usual. I have to admit that in December, my scrapbooking slows down quite a bit, so most of these are from January and February. Some of them have process videos. I'll link all the videos below in the description box if you missed any of these or want to watch how some of these layouts came together. I think that's all for now. Let me clear off my desk and we'll start with my first layout. The first page is Luna. This is a special page. It's actually a memorial page for our precious cat. I chose these fun happy papers from Doodlebug for this layout, even though it's a sad subject matter. I wanted the bright colors in celebration of our memories of her. My favorite design feature of this layout is the tags behind the photo and the row of super cute puffy stickers. I thought this row of icon stickers would look fun behind the photo, and I do love how that turned out. I added a photo sleeve to the main photo, and the sleeve pulls down to reveal the journaling. I added in two 2x2 cut apart squares and decorated them with more puffy stickers. The journaling is not something we want to see all the time, but I know it's there if I ever want to read it. I also fussy cut some rainbows from another Doodlebug paper and added them to the layout. I even got some of my baker's twine out to add ties to two of the tags, and the butterflies came from a Martha Stewart punch. This is a fun design to use when you have both a landscape and a portrait photo. It's not always easy to find designs to accommodate both photo sizes. I did cut down my portrait photo a little bit, but you can still take some inspiration from how the photos are arranged. I do have a sketch for this one, and I'll put a link to that in the description box below if you're interested. Life and color with you. This page was so much fun to create. I've always wanted to do one of these rainbow type pages with all of the fun embellishments. What inspired this page was the 6x8 paper from 49 and Market. I have a lot of these 6x8 papers and I need to be adding them to more layouts. I loved this paper because of the sunburst, and since it's smaller than the 12 by 12 canvas, it gave me room to extend out the embellishments from the rays in all of the pretty colors from the paper. I did cut some shapes with Doodlebug dies, but everything else came from my stash. I used some old school prong brads and patches and bling and enamel dots. I loved the idea of adding a lot of color to this photo of us dressed up for a wedding. Of the two of us, my husband is the fun one. He's always up for an adventure, always finds fun stuff for us to do, and my life is way more fun now as a result. So that's what this page is about, and that's what I wanted to express with this cool design. That my life is richer and more colorful because I get to share my life with him. COVID casualty. There is no process video for this one. Anyone else out there a Sweet Tomatoes fan? Out on the West Coast, I believe this restaurant was called Soup Plantation. It was one of my favorite places to eat. Back in the early and mid 2000s, my parents came over to Orlando often to hit the malls and shop in the big city, and we'd eat lunch there every few months. And my friend Jamie and I were there in January of 2020 for the last time. I find it so ironic that I took my camera out and captured this photo on the very last time I got to eat there. This chain was unable to open their restaurants after the COVID lockdown, and I was and still am pretty devastated. Because it was a favorite for so many years, I wanted to create this layout. I used Photoplay's The Quarantine Life. The colors worked well with my photos, and I feel like we lost Sweet Tomatoes as a direct result of COVID. I cut a big half circles for each side of the page. I thought this would be a cool frame and kind of brings the attention to the center where I put my photos. I didn't have any tomato die cuts, but I did find some strawberries, so that's what I used. I also added hearts because I really did love that place. I also found 3 different stickers in my stash that said sweet, so I added one to each one of my cluster embellishments. Here's a 2-page holiday themed layout. I was very happy that this layout helped me do some deep stash busting. The title says Magic Kingdom, but all of the photos are at Epcot because the Magic Kingdom was crazy busy the day we had reservations, and we were not interested in waiting in long lines and fighting crowds. So we park hopped over to Epcot at 2 p.m., and that's when the day really started. My favorite thing about this layout is the Christmas tree I made from a scrap of basic gray paper. I love the papers and the colors in that paper, and I was so glad I found other stuff in my stash to go along with it. I have had these felt poinsettias from Making Memories for so many years. They are not the traditional red and white. They're kind of a khaki and a cranberry, so they don't go with all holiday papers. But I love that they coordinated so well here. The felt adds texture and dimension to each of my embellishment clusters. I also dug out the wood veneer light strings that I've had for many years as well and got them on this page. Same with the brown polka dot ribbon. I thought that was a fun way to make my tree trunk. I added my journaling to the tags behind the photos and used more of the ribbon to top off the tags. I put all of my photos on the right side in a block and then used a Fisker's punch to make scallop borders. The round edges help soften all of the blocks just a bit. I went with these fun pearly dots as a finishing touch. I love how the white contrasts against all of the darker papers. I also used some film strips from 49 and Market that came from a fall collection. The green was the perfect complement to this page. This is a great design that you could use for any holiday. Just swap out the tree for another large seasonal shape like a pumpkin in the fall or a heart for Valentine's Day. Deck the halls. Here's another Christmas page, and there's no process video for this one, but it does have another blast from the past. Anyone remember these die cuts from my mind's eye? These had a date printed on them, and if I recall correctly, it was 2003. I've had these in my stash for 20 years. That is crazy. But I always say if you love it, keep it, and eventually it's going to work. When I was pulling supplies for this super cute cat paper, I came across this title and the ornament die cuts, and it was like they were meant to go together. I have no problem using up older stash like this on current layouts. The trick is to add them along with newer updated stuff like the washi tape and these Tim Holtz flashcards. This page came together so quickly. I only had a scrap left over of the cat paper, and I just tore off the edge of it and placed it on top of white cardstock and added a matted photo. If you watch a lot of my videos, you may have noticed I don't use a lot of washi tape. I stopped buying it a long time ago. It's fun and it comes in so many cool prints, but I just have a hard time using it. It always rips on me, and I have a hard time getting clean pieces that don't leave residue on the layer underneath. It just tends to frustrate me, so I don't use it that much. But here, I needed a pop of black. I struggled to get clean pieces, but I do like how it turned out. This is one of the few layouts you'll see washi on. I also had these fun puffy holiday cat stickers in my stash, and they were the perfect finishing touch for this page. This was Harley's first Christmas. She was about 9 months old here, and we were so worried that she was going to jump in the tree and we'd find it on the floor. But after the first day of newness, she mostly ignored it. So that's what this page is all about, gratitude that I won't end up with a bunch of broken ornaments. More nice than naughty. Sanford Block Party. This page makes me happy. For this one, I centered my 2 portrait photos and added thin strips of pattern paper behind. I thought that would make a cool frame for my photos. We were at an outdoor concert, and I wanted to keep the mood for the page fun and playful. This was another stash buster. I used some random die cuts that I had never had used for, but were perfect for this page. I've had this You Rock wood veneer for years. I think it came in a Scraptastic monthly kit back in the day. I also used up more Studio Calico wood veneer and these fun tickets. Once I mounted the layout on the blue background, I noticed that there was some dead space up at the top. All of the weight is in the middle and the bottom of the page. So I took some scrap strips, added fishtails, and sewed them to the top in an effort to counterbalance the rest of the layout. I do have a video going through the process of selecting the papers for these photos. If you're interested, I'll link that video below too. I got a lot of great feedback on that one, so I'll try to add more supply selection videos in the future. Epcot birthday. I had a lot of fun with this page. This is the other set of photos I used in my video where I made page kits. I'll be the first one to point out that yes, it's very busy. A lot of patterns here. When I have a lot of patterns, I tend to add white or black cardstock to try to break it up, but this one felt more fun with all of the patterns. I do like this design of pushing all of the pattern papers to one corner. It gives you a smaller canvas to work from while still showing off all of the different patterns. And it also gives you built-in layers to add embellishments to. This was the first time we got to ride on this ride at Epcot. The hardest part of this layout coming together was finding something to place under my title. I didn't like how all of the letters looked on top of the blue floral paper. I really needed something to help my letters stand out. I landed on the idea of a doily, and I love how this looks. It was also my birthday, so I added the balloons and the number 50 on top of the blue flower. And I wanted to add motifs from the movie, so I cut the chef's hat and the spoon die cuts with my silhouette. On this page, I also stamped my own phrases with some wordfetti stamps from scrapbook.com. I wanted to add more of the navy blue, but I didn't have any word stickers in my stash that worked. Stamping was the perfect alternative, and I should probably use these stamps more often. They are super cute. I cut my journaling into strips and added gold accents to finish off the page. Here's another layout that has a lot of busyness going on. One of the ephemera packs I was using had 2 tags in it, and that's what started me on the idea of repeating tags in the background. I pulled a ton of ephemera and used the tags to house all of those embellishments. By adding all of the bits and pieces to the tags, they have a place to be. They are grounded and not just floating around. I also used up some older stuff. Pages like this give us a great excuse to get out all of our old stash and to finally get it on a scrapbook page. I made the blue paper into a pocket and tucked the tags behind that layer and then added all of my journaling inside the pocket. The title for this is All About Beer, and what that means is it's about me learning about craft beer. Beer and craft beer are very different creatures. My husband is a craft beer guy, so there was a bit of a learning curve for me to understand all of the terms. I'm also happy I found the memorabilia that I kept from this day. This is the last place we went together before the world shut down. I kept a coaster and the beer flight card that's there in the photo. Away to Key West. Here's a 2-page layout, and there's no process video for this one. I took a trip to Key West with my mom and dad in 2018. I've lived in Florida since 1993, and in all of these years, I had never been to the Keys. My mom's health had started to deteriorate, and this ended up being the last trip I got to take with her. So I'm really grateful their neighbor convinced me to join them. The floral paper is from the Sunkissed collection by Cocoa Vanilla Studios. I added other tone-on-tone papers from my stash. I also had both ephemera packs, the die cuts and the flowers. I think Cocoa Vanilla Studios makes my favorite flowers. I love building clusters with them. This is just a simple design. I just blocked in the photos on the left, added strips above and below, and extended the strips over to the right side. I don't create 2-page layouts as often as single-page layouts, but my trick for getting 2-pagers done quickly is try to extend whatever I'm doing on one side of the page over to the other side. So this one has a lot of long strips and is very blocky, but I tried to break up some of the blocks with the flower clusters. I love the fun, happy colors. I used 49 and Market film strips as cluster bases, and since I live in Florida, I had plenty of tropical embellishments to add. Annual expedition. This one does not have a process video either. Every year, my husband makes a trip to South Florida to go to his favorite brewery. And this visit in 2020 was my first time going with him. So I took some photos of the brewery, the brewing space, and this wall with some of their label artwork. I created this page to be the first page in the album for this section with all of our funky Buddha layouts. I wanted to add in these sticker decals and quickly found the background chevron paper with the orange. For an accent color, I decided to take inspiration from the photo and found a green text print in my stash, and that's how this one got the lime green accent color. I had that first wood veneer piece in my stash and I put it on there to show that this was my first trip. Then I added more wood veneer. I also found some heart patches and the color matches the decals pretty well, so that was a good find. I didn't have any words or phrases that worked in the brown color I wanted, so I printed some of my own orange labels and used them to add the words I wanted with some older brown letter stickers. This is a super quick, easy design and gets 3 photos on a page and uses labels to add journaling words. Quick and easy, and another memory documented. And that's my winter layout share. I hope some of these layouts inspired you with ideas to try on your own pages. I'll be back soon with another process video. See you next time.